grabs next, the title that David Walker used to hold. It's the vacant Southern Area welterweight crown being contested between Brett James and Sammy Smith. Fantastic fight, this one, scheduled for 10 3-minute rounds, and we join it at the start.
This Southern Area 10.5 stone title was the one that was vacated by Jimmy Vincent before he went on to challenge, as it turns out, unsuccessfully for the vacant British title. And now Brett James, age 27, in the brown trunks trimmed with gold, and Sammy Smith, age 25, in the blue trunks, also trimmed with gold, have a chance to pick up a title. Scheduled for 10 3-minute rounds, and already there's a cut on the forehead of the man from Bracknell or Slough, whichever you like, is Sammy Smith. And Sammy Smith is cut, and I think there might have been an early clash of heads. There's a bit of blood just trickling down over his forehead. He came into the ring wearing his trademark tartan cap, which of course he had to take off, and I'm wondering, was there a little nick? But I don't think there was. I think there's been, Duke McKenzie, a clash of heads early doors.
Very slight clash of heads. It looks to be right on the hairline of Sammy Smith, but he started off this first round like a train, being gone on, and he just can't stop. He's just throwing plenty of shots, walking forward, head down, and his chin up in the air.
Last time we saw Brett James here in action in the BBC was when he was stopped by one David Walker, who's not too far away. He's at ringside with his manager Mick Hennessy, but that cut is getting, if anything, worse on the forehead of his co-challenger Sammy Smith. James covering up. Well, Smith's style coming in with head down, Duke, is always going to lend itself to that kind of a cut.
Sure, there's a clash of styles between the pair of them. They both want to come forward and trade blows, but Smith at the moment is just getting the better with his sheer persistence and work rate.
James has a glance toward his corner where Alan Smith is just indicating to him to be calm. That was a definite bang of heads. A little bit of holding around the back of the head by Brett James, who would have started as favourite for this contest.
James has just been taken out of his rhythm just ever so slightly by the sheer work rate of Smith.
That obviously was the plan. James trialling an uppercut. Better stuff by James. He just stood his ground and planted the feet and landed with a decent right.
Responding quite well there, James. Just allowed Smith to come on and come with some nice shots on the way in.
Well, Sammy Smith, despite that cut, really has ambushed Brett James.
Such an odd place to get a cut. Looks right on the top, on the crown of his head. It won't impair his vision at all. Should be allowed to work quite freely. Once he gets back to the corner, they should be able to staunch that cut.
Well, at this stage, I'm glad to report it doesn't look as if it's in a contest-threatening place, although it's opened up rather nastily, and there is a lot of blood there. A most unusual place to get a cut.
So we got to keep it, yeah? So we got to keep it. Working over. Screw the shot, yeah? Screw the shot, yeah? Up inside, we've got to push it off.
That's well above the hairline, but if it starts to run into the eyes, then there could be a bit of trouble. Oh, well, there you are. Perfect view of what caused the cut to slice Sammy Smith.
Come on,
when you the corner.
Punch, win a punch, yeah? When you don't punch, step off the side, 6 and 7 to his body, yeah? Come on, off the jab, 6 and 7 off it. Can't Sam, you're the new champ, come on. On me, and he's got nothing. He's got nothing to offer, that's his best round. Come on, we're going to get out of there, here. Right, Sam, 3 up, 3 lungs, come on. Let's go and get him, yeah? So boxing, conditions. That's it, come on.
Things a little bit calmer in the Brett James corner. Interesting, Larry O'Connell, one of the great referees of the modern era, indicated to Sammy Smith just to watch the head. So James survived a pretty torrid round. Smith worked out his style pretty nicely and kept on top of him the whole time. The right hand by James wasn't too far from the target. Better footwork by James. I think he wants to stay away from Smith if he can, Duke.
There's no finesse about these two at all. They just want to get into it and just have it in the trenches and just throw punches. There's no sweet science involved. There's no Not too much of that, but that's the shot.
Great punch by a man who's not known as a puncher. Brett James caught Sammy Smith with a real gem of a right hand. Smith down and up again, takes the 8 count. James has stopped only one opponent in 11 wins and 14 pro contests. Sammy Smith got himself caught with a very good shot. This will certainly give James encouragement, and Smith is going to have to keep him away. Smith's back to the high guard again.
James set that combination up really well with the jab. Treble jabbed and then came back with the right hand and right on top of Smith's jaw and dropped him.
That little cut on the hairline of Sammy Smith has opened up again. Well, no doubt he was at fault on that occasion. Larry O'Connell said to Sammy Smith, don't lean forward, and that cut, if it gets worse, could cause the stoppage in this contest if James doesn't get to him before that. James seems, every time there's a clinch, he seems to be looking round to see who's observing. The right hand from James again.
James is trying to time his right hand as Smith makes his charge forward. He tries to time the right hand and the left hook.
Right hand from James wasn't too far away. Just under a minute to go to the second. I don't think this will go the full 10 somehow. It's been a better round for Brett James, and because of that knockdown, it'll be a 10-8 round to him, and that would put him, given that we think that Smith might have taken the first, that'll put James ahead.
James needs to get back on the jab. That's what brought him the success with the knockdown. Get back on that jab, work this kid out from that, and then drop the right hand again.
He ignored the jab and went for the round the corner right and got picked off by a short little right hand delivered by Sammy Smith. Good left by James and a right to the body. This is a much better round by Brett James.
James is just starting to hurt Smith now. Just about everything he throws, he gets through and he lands heavily and lands.
Just slightly off target with that right. What a busy round that was. And this is the man who won it, having had his opponent on the canvas to take a standing 8 count.
All you had to do, this young man, is chuck straight shots.
Smith ducking down. James just keeping him away. 1, 2, 3, 4 little jabs, and then the right hand. Smith's defense nowhere whatsoever, and that was a really nice little punch. He set him up quite perfectly. Flick, 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 and then deliver, and right on the jaw, and down went Sammy Smith. Second round to Brett James. Smith trying to come back into things. James moving very nicely, keeping him away. Smith's shots not quite landing with any degree of accuracy, and there's that nasty cut has opened up.
Open up on him. Let's go. Come on. Double round.
Brett James from St. Pancras comes out of the red corner, and the men in the corner have said to him, let's go, open up a little bit. And again, a little clash of heads. Smith needs to keep that left of his up a little bit. Sammy Smith from Slough, 2 years younger than James.
If Smith can't maintain this pace, Brett James will inject more into his work rate and pick him off. If he's allowed to box him and drop the right hand in, then Smith will come unstuck again.
Sammy Smith took a couple of years out of boxing, came back in February of 2002, and has won 3 out of 4 since that comeback. A little bit better by him. Better attack by Sammy Smith, a two-fisted attack. James looking for that right hand, which was so successful in putting Smith to the canvas a round ago. Just seem to have settled down a little bit, Jupe.
They've settled down, the pace is just starting to drop a little bit now. I think that fancies James more than Smith. Smith wants to just keep pressuring and try and break James up. He just allowed him a little bit too much room. That's more like it from Smith. Constant pressure.
Smith leaning on, doing some decent work, close end, good right by James, tried it again.
Just feel the better boxing lies with James. There's the right hand over the top that I was telling you about. The better boxing lies with James undoubtedly, but the aggression and the firepower, I think, might just lay with Smith.
Nick on the top of the head of Sammy Smith, just starting to ooze blood again, but nothing to worry about. Good work by the corner. Smith going for the right. James, I should say, going for the right. Stiff jab by James. Yep.
Sorry, as the pace starts to drop, you got to fancy it's gonna fancy James.
That was a good right hand by Smith. That's the best shot he's landed so far. And Sammy Smith suddenly finds a little bit extra in this round. Just about 20 seconds to go. That was the shot of the round. It was delivered by Sammy Smith. Can he press home that advantage? Remember, James got stopped 2 fights ago by David Walker. It was in October of last year here in this very ring in Bethnal Green. That was a pretty even run.
If you want to chuck away rounds, young man, then don't come back here and tell me about it. Listen to me, all you have to do is work in 4 and 5s. Look at me, that's lazy. It always shut up. Don't listen, shut up. Not a side of Z, not a side of Z. Don't you dare tell me that. Now look at me, you want this, you've got to dig in. Just work with your straight shot spread. Don't start all that, I'm telling you now, all right?
Straight work. More quality shots inside, yeah? Let's be a bit more quality shots inside, what we work for. Come on. When he don't want to punch, we're going to punch, yeah? With quality shots inside, like I showed you, yeah? Hold your hand there and whack it into his body, yeah? You don't like it up in. You've got a better chin than him, he's hit you with the best shot, you can't do more. Come on, this is yours, so breathe up. Breathe on. Let's go and get him, Sam. Hands off the jab. You've got to go in with your hands off the jab, yeah? Keep your hands up. Let's go and get him, yeah? Breathe up.